Hi, I'm Vahid Razavi with BizCloud. I'm here with Katherine Barr from Mohr Davidow Ventures at the C100 event. Katherine, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
I would like to get a little overview of what C100 is all about. Can you give us a little background about it?
Sure. C100 is a group of Canadian expat executives, entrepreneurs, and investors who want to support and accelerate the next generation of really promising up-and-coming Canadian technology entrepreneurs.
Wonderful. And how are they supporting these entrepreneurs?
We have a number of different programs. We have, through the nonprofit organization, a number of people running events like 48 Hours in the Valley, which runs quarterly, where we bring down a number of early stage promising entrepreneurs from Canada to Silicon Valley to connect them here with potential business partners, with investors, to give them feedback on their business plans, and to help share best practices in terms of building startup companies.
Wonderful. And what kind of success have these companies had working with Silicon Valley firms?
Well, we can't necessarily claim direct attribution for all of this, but the data that we have shows that all of the hundreds of companies that have flowed through our program have gone on to raise more than $500 million in venture capital funding.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. And is that for the past year, or is that
That's
for
the last few years.
Wonderful, that's great. Now, in regards to C100 and the companies that were here, what were some of the highlights?
So I was in charge. We ran a CEO summit, and we also ran an investor summit today, and I was in charge of running the investor summit.
Wonderful.
So I think the key highlights are that there are an incredible number of technology and entrepreneurial things happening in Canada, but unfortunately a lot of the investors here just don't know about it. So we need to do a much better job at marketing ourselves and letting the folks here in Silicon Valley know just how much promising entrepreneurial talent there is up there.
Absolutely. And I guess the reverse of that, for Silicon Valley companies that are looking to market and sell their products in Canada, open up offices in Canada, is there anything for C100 there?
Well, yeah, I mean, our main objective is really to support the Canadian tech companies who are kind of flowing down to Silicon Valley or in Silicon Valley, but we're more than happy certainly to help them if they're going back to Canada, because there are some incredible benefits to being in Canada in terms of access to amazing entrepreneurs and technologists who, frankly, it's just not as competitive and it's not quite as costly to hire them up there. There are amazing tax benefits and government support that's available up there. It's an amazing standard of living. So I think there are a lot of benefits for folks who'd want to move back up to Canada as well with the company.
Wonderful. Now, Katherine, you've been involved in the VC community in Silicon Valley for a number of years, and currently at Mohr Davidow Ventures. In regards to Silicon Valley and some of the projects that you're involved with, what are some of those companies and trends that you're seeing that as an organization that you're making investments in currently?
Yeah, so of course the cloud infrastructure just generally is still really big in terms of investment interest. Consumerization of the enterprise generally is of big interest. There's some really big multi-billion-dollar verticals that people are investing in right now, like education and healthcare and financial services. They're not necessarily easy verticals, but they absolutely are antiquated and huge and need to be innovated. So there's a lot of investment taking place there. Next generation marketing companies, that's really big. In terms of the companies that I'm looking at, next generation media companies are of interest. Anything to do with mobile devices disrupting large markets are of interest. An area that I'm calling life optimization, so any kind of way that technology is personalizing or optimizing our lives as consumers, that's of interest. And then the retail space, of course. Retail and commerce is massively being disrupted right now.
Wonderful. Now, I noticed that you're also, on your LinkedIn profile, had listed Zuckerberg Media as one of the companies, the startups that you're engaged with.
Yes.
Could you tell us about that? And on a high level,
Sure.
What is Zuckerberg Media all about?
Yeah, Randy Zuckerberg is the founder of Zuckerberg Media. It's a next generation media company. She is basically she's founded Complicated, which is a new media platform targeted essentially at women and moms. And it's kind of like Dear Abby meets, let's say, computer world. It's really technology advice or technology-related advice and information for women and moms. And it's just an incredible company. Wonderful.
Well, great. Now, I wanted to ask you, in regards to C100 and the Canadian involvement, if companies are interested, from Canadian companies are interested in working with C100, what's the best way to reach the organization, to get in touch with you, and to be able to get engaged to the Silicon Valley community here?
That's a great question. So there are a number of different routes. I mean, the first is through the Canadian consulate. They're always open to certainly to helping Canadian technology entrepreneurs broadly. In terms of C100, because we have very specific programs, probably the best way, honestly, is just to go to the website and to apply to participate in, for example, 48 Hours, or to go to one of our events one of the Accelerate events or the Grow Conference back in Canada.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Katherine, for your time this afternoon. I greatly appreciate it, and please keep us updated in regards to what Mohr Davidow Ventures is doing and the work that you're doing in Silicon Valley with C100.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again. All right. Take care.